The cafe froze when the girl spoke, not because she was loud, but because she was brave. A hardened U.S. Marine looked up. His combat dog went still. What followed wasn't dramatic or explosive, but it stunned everyone who witnessed it. The cafe was warm, filled with the low hum of conversations and the soft clink of cups. Outside, snow drifted past the windows, blurring the city into white silence. At a corner table sat a U.S. Marine in uniform, posture straight, hands wrapped around a mug he hadn't touched. At his feet, a German shepherd sat alert, calm, watching everything. The door opened. A small girl stepped inside on metal crutches. One leg was missing below the knee. Her pink dress swayed as she moved, careful and slow. Every step echoed louder than it should have. Some people glanced away, others stared too long. She stopped beside the Marine's table. Her hands trembled, but her voice didn't. "Can I sit here?" The room seemed to hold its breath. The Marine looked up, eyes sharp from years of scanning danger. The dog's ears lifted, not in warning, but in attention. The girl stood steady, waiting, used to rejection but hoping anyway. This was her moment. One question, one chance to belong. The Marine didn't answer right away. Training took over, scan, assess, protect. But there was no threat here, just a child, standing on borrowed balance and borrowed courage. Still, his chest tightened, his memories slammed into him without mercy. Years earlier, in a shattered village overseas, smoke filled the air and gunfire tore through the streets. He had carried a wounded child through chaos, her blood soaking into his uniform. She clung to him, eyes wide, trusting him completely. "I won't let you go," he whispered. She died minutes later. That moment followed him home. It sat with him in silence, in cafes, on buses, in dreams. He avoided people because people reminded him of promises broken and lives he couldn't save. Now here was another child, another look of hope. His jaw clenched, his hands tightened around the mug. The easy thing would be to say nothing. Instead, slowly, deliberately, he reached out and pulled the chair back. "You can sit here," he said. The words surprised even him. The girl's shoulders dropped in relief, like she'd been holding the weight of the world, and something inside the Marine shifted, small but real. For the first time in years, he didn't turn away. Before the girl even moved, the German shepherd stood, not rigid, not defensive, just present. He stepped closer to her, placing himself between her and the rest of the room, like a quiet promise. His tail didn't wag, but his posture softened. The girl noticed and smiled, just a little. As she lowered herself into the chair, the dog sat beside her and gently rested his head against her leg. The Marine noticed people watching now. This dog didn't do this, not with strangers. What they didn't know was that this same dog had once dragged the Marine from a burning vehicle under enemy fire, teeth locked onto his vest, refusing to let go, even as bullets struck the metal around them. Loyalty wasn't trained into him. It was lived. The girl reached down carefully, resting her hand on the dog's head. He didn't flinch. He leaned in. For the first time since entering the cafe, her breathing slowed. "Hi," she whispered. The Marine swallowed hard. The dog knew something neither of them had said out loud yet. This meeting mattered. "My name is Lily," she said softly. The Marine nodded. "That's a good name." She told him about the accident, a drunk driver, one loud crash, one moment that divided her life into before and after. She spoke about hospitals, learning to fall, learning to stand again, about classmates who stopped inviting her places, about strangers who stared like she was a lesson instead of a person. "I get scared walking into rooms," she admitted. "I never know where I belong." The Marine listened, really listened. No fixing, no interrupting. Then Lily looked at him and asked, "Did you lose something too?" The question hit harder than any memory. He exhaled slowly. "Friends, parts of myself. I came back, but I never really came home." The dog leaned closer, grounding them both. The Marine talked about training with the dog, about trust built without words, about how loyalty isn't commanded, it's earned. Lily absorbed every word like it mattered. For the first time in years, the Marine spoke without armor. No rehearsed answers, just truth. And in that space between them, something healed. The cafe felt different now. People weren't just watching, they were feeling. Conversations faded. A woman wiped her eyes. A man lowered his phone. No one wanted to break whatever this was. Outside, snow continued to fall, but inside, warmth spread quietly. The dog suddenly tilted his head at Lily, making a soft sound. She laughed, light and surprised. The sound caught the Marine off guard. It was the first real laugh he'd heard since leaving the service. He smiled before he realized it. In that moment, neither of them was broken. Not the girl missing a leg, not the soldier missing pieces of himself. They were simply human. Strangers felt connected by something fragile and rare. Not tragedy, but understanding. Not pity, but respect. The Marine realized something then. This wasn't about war or injuries or dogs. It was about being seen. Lily adjusted her crutches and stood. "Thank you for letting me sit here," she said. "I didn't feel broken today." The Marine stood too. Without thinking, he raised his hand and saluted her. She smiled and walked away, head higher than when she entered. The dog followed her with his eyes until the door closed, then looked back at the Marine. Mission complete. The table remained. The chairs stayed the same. But something unseen had changed forever. Strength doesn't always roar. Sometimes it whispers, "Can I sit here?" and leaves behind hope that stays long after the chair is empty.